So today we're going to talk about lean meat or lean protein, low-fat protein on keto. Not a good idea. Now what's amazing to me is how hard they will push this low-fat lean protein on people. Eat your skinless chicken breasts and your turkey bacon and you're going to be so healthy. Now there's some interesting data on certain expeditions in the Arctic where all they had to eat is rabbit, okay? And there's a condition called protein starvation. Another name for it is rabbit starvation or fat starvation. And when they're talking about protein starvation, they're talking about starving from other nutrients because you're only eating lean protein. Rabbit has 8% fat, okay? So it's very, very lean. Beef, by the way, has 32% fat. And skinless chicken breast is 11% fat, so it's extremely lean. Well, this condition creates a series of side effects. One is diarrhea, headaches, fatigue, low blood pressure, slow pulse rate, and a hunger that cannot be satisfied by consuming more protein. And even in certain survival manuals, it talks about refraining from consuming rabbit if it's the only food that is available, okay? It's better to eat nothing at all because it's actually even killed people. So anytime you're consuming protein on keto, consume it as a whole food, okay? It comes with the fat. Don't take the skin off. Try to get sardines with the skin on. Don't go low fat. And there's some other interesting things about low fat protein, especially when you get an ultra low, like 0 fat, as in whey protein powder. There's something called the insulin index. It's different than the glycemic index. The glycemic index has to do with all the carbohydrates that stimulate insulin. The insulin index has to do with all the non-carbohydrate foods that will trigger insulin, all right? And whey is at the top of the list. Whey is just not a natural product. They remove all the fat. And it also takes certain nutrients to metabolize protein. So if you're consuming too lean of a protein and you're not adding enough fat, you can create all sorts of vitamin and mineral deficiencies. And the other thing you should know is something that relates to bile that's made from the liver that's stored in the gallbladder. You need bile to help you absorb all the fat-soluble vitamins. What triggers bile is fat. If you're going lean, especially lean protein, you can not only dry up the bile, but you can increase your risk of gallstones. Being in practice for 29 years, I've ran into quite a few people who are on a low-fat, high-protein diet weight loss program, okay? So they're doing these protein powders that are really extremely low-fat, and I noticed a certain percentage of them having gallbladder problems, gallbladder attacks, gallstones. This one lady did this diet down the street from some doctor who put her on this powdered protein, low-fat mix, okay? That's all she consumed for, I think, like 6 months. She ended up with a condition where she had to remove the gallbladder, and then she ended up with constant burping to the point where it was driving her husband crazy. Burping and belching is a gallbladder symptom. So even if you have the gallbladder out, that doesn't mean the problem is solved. It just means you don't now have the sac that holds the bile, and you're going to have a bile deficiency. So you could still have very similar symptoms that you had with gallstones, even without the gallbladder, because now you don't have the capacity to store and concentrate the bile. Fat is needed for your brain, for your nervous system, for the cell membranes, for the endocrine system, for your immune system. And I'm also talking about cholesterol as well. I mean, look at how many symptoms a person gets when they get on a statin drug when they're blocking the production of cholesterol. So what you want to make sure you have in your diet is the fattiest fish that you can find, the fattiest meat that you can find. Don't get the lean protein, the lean dairy. Get the protein and fat in their whole form. Thanks for watching. Hey, if you're liking this content, please subscribe now, and I will actually keep you updated on future videos.